oftentimes when people hear the word taxidermy, they think of paying money to the government or maybe a person who does taxes for a living, but that's the farthest from the truth. Taxidermy is actually recreating the wildlife to their natural habitat. So what I'm going to show today is how the history of taxidermy and compares to how taxidermy is done today. Okay, so it started out with the Egyptians mummifying their pets and laying them in the coffins with their owners. That showed kind of like their trophies of what they had in life. The next is the Victorian era. They actually started taxidermy, making the animals look as if they're doing human-like objects, like being in class or having tea parties. The 20th century, that's when it moved to actually seeing them do their normal thing in the wild. So now we're going to go to the process of how it developed. In the Middle Ages, they stuffed the hide with random objects like bird feathers and grass. This actually made for a bad mount. They would fall after a certain time, and then they would rot and bugs would get into them, so they wasn't very preserved. The Victorian era, that's going back to making the animals do human-like things. They were stuffed with straw, and then this would give them a little more sturdier foundation. Not great. In the early 20th century, they built wooden frames to hold up the hide. That made it so they could last longer, and it was preserved better because it wasn't the actual meat and hide of the animal. Then present day process, the mount itself is actually polyurethane foam, so that they actually stretch the hide over the foam mold. And then they use clay to go around the eyes and the facial features to make it look more realistic. And then they use many chemicals to preserve the hide so it doesn't rot and insects can't get into it. So what I learned from my research was that you can actually learn a lot about the technology from the cultures that would perform these processes. So going back to the feathers and then wooden frames, you can tell a lot about how the culture developed over time.